starting a live. Oh, yeah. People are coming in. Hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. Hope you're having some fun. Goodness. Super excited to be chatting with people. We're thrilled to be having you on this lovely Tuesday, here to chat about our crowns and Black beauty. We're just gonna invite our guests. Let's get going. I hope everyone is having an amazing afternoon. Hi. Oh, thank you, Lola, for liking my lipstick. It's a little Sephora number. Just a little $9 situational. We're really excited to have so many people joining us. Let me keep adding our amazing guests for today. So just give me a quick second. One moment. Adding all of our folks. Send the request. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Tamia. The curls are courtesy of Pattern Beauty. Oh, hello, Shannon.
Hey, Amy, how are you?
I'm fantastic. We're just adding people in. We've got quite a few people joining us right now. So let me just keep it going. There's Freddie. 1 second. And then we'll add in Myleik. Oh man. How is your day? How's your day going? Oh, yes. Hello, Freddie.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining.
Hi, Freddie.
Hi.
It's great to meet you.
We're just waiting on Miss Myleik, and let me send her another request. Freddie, how old is the little one?
She's 7 weeks today.
Wow.
It's just everything. And you're on IG Live. I mean, let's be honest. I love it.
I
Very
know.
impressive. Very impressive. We're so thrilled to be having both of you, plus Myleik, who will join in just a moment. We
Where
are
are you calling
thrilled.
from?
Huh?
Where are you guys calling from?
I am calling from Los Angeles. Are you in London right now, Freddie?
I'm in London. Yeah.
I'm in New York City right now.
Oh, I love it.
I love
Like New
it.
York, London.
Global Black Beauty. I was actually just in London for the London Art Biennale
Ooh.
for Eni Archibong's like beautiful sales that are at Somerset House. So it was amazing
Oh,
art
nice.
installation. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, I love it.
It's so wonderful. But yes, we got Montreal in the house. There's
Yeah.
we got some global Black beauty happening. I'm here for it. So Myleik is running a little bit behind, so no worries. But we will get started. We're so thrilled here at Phenomenal to continue in our Crown Day conversations. Today, for everyone who is joining us, thank you. We're chatting with what will be 3 powerhouse beauty entrepreneurs and founders. Right now, we've got 2, one on the way. Juggling a business plus babies is no joke, as Freddie can attest.
Like nursing on Instagram Live, that was your first.
Yes, I love
Yes,
it.
talk about bring your full self to work. That is what we're here for. So, with us today, we have Shannon Kennard, who's the CEO or co-founder and CMO of Baby Tress,
Yes.
getting our edges laid and slayed.
Yes.
And then we also have Freddie Harrel, who is the CEO and founder of RadSwan, coming to us live from London. So we're thrilled with a 7-week-old. We're thrilled to have you. Thank you so much. So today's conversation, ladies, is really just about founding and starting a business that really centers on Black hair and Black beauty. We like to think that the Black beauty space is super packed, it's busy, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, but yet there's still unmet needs in our community, and there are still a lot of ways that our Black beauty is not celebrated. In fact, it's encouraged to be changed, morphed, tweaked, amplified, enhanced, all of the things. And so it's been really amazing to watch your journey, each of your journeys as business owners and heroines of Black hair. I'd love to sort of hear from both of you in your own unique ways, like, how have you centered Black beauty in your businesses? How have you been really methodical about that? And what does it mean to you? Freddie, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. Well, you know, like for me, it's quite a straightforward answer, I guess, by because of the nature of the product that we're doing. Sorry. It's being very noisy. But I think it's, sorry.
You're fine. Don't say sorry. You're good. She's also like, Mom, why are you talking so loud?
Basically, no, she just finished nursing. She's like, excuse me. No, but you know, the nature of our products really is just Black women buy and we do clip-ins and lace runaways, and it's specifically for natural hair textures. So but even the whole journey around that, even wanted to create this product in the first place was because of the options that we have out there that don't dignify us, and just realizing with a lot of other women that, you know, I wasn't the only one who was a novice, who was completely clueless about hair, who needed as well the sort of modern, tweak, beautiful and fun hair solution that would fit in the lifestyle that we have, in our current lifestyles. So that's how, having those common frustrations, that's what gives me the drive to really serve Black women in this particular area, definitely.
I love that. And I love that you say that you were a wig novice. I am too, extensions novice. And some people think that we all know with the lace front, the swoop, the got to be, the, Indian curly, yaki, kinky, child, I don't know any of it. I'm like, this has been me. So it's great to see that RadSwan has centered Black beauty that allows for the novice or the newbie to enter into the hair space. I love that. Talk to me a little bit, Shannon, about how you have centered Black beauty.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to piggyback off of what Freddie was saying, we really wanted to bring the Black beauty space into our modern lifestyle. So how Baby Tress got started, we actually began as a creative agency. And we were working in the Black hair space. So we're working with beauty supply store brands. And I know we've all been to the Black beauty supply store. We know how that traditionally feels when we go into that experience when we're buying the products. And ultimately, we just discovered why is it that, in our industry, when, we know we spend a lot of money and time on our hair, why is it that the tools that we're using are still kind of why do we have to still use toothbrushes? It really was just about creating a product that we were going to love, that was going to work really well for textured hair. And that was modern and built on the legacy, we started from the toothbrush, but now we're here.
Okay, first of all, you need to make a t-shirt. Started from the toothbrush and now we're here. Now we're here. That is a moment. I love that. Noted. Yes. Write that down, sis. Marketing tactic 101.
Right. Let me type that in my notes.
I love it. Well, we also are joined by the fabulous Myleik Teele, CEO and founder of Curlbox. Thanks for joining us, Myleik.
I'm so glad to be here. It's so good to see you, Amy. And look at Freddie, this baby.
I know. Look at this nugget.
So precious.
Yes.
We were just kicking things off, Myleik, by sort of starting with how have you been methodical about centering Black beauty in your business? Curlbox has been around, it is now 10 years this year?
We'll be 10 years at the top of the year.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
Wow.
10 years.
Yes.
10 years. So
how
have you been sort of strategic and very purposeful around centering Black beauty?
It was always really important. I always used to see these magazines, and I don't know if you ladies know this, but Amy and I have known each other for even longer than Curlbox, but you'd see all of these different magazine covers, and I felt like they only showed a particular Black woman only one way or two ways. And I was like, there is so much diversity in Black beauty, and I'm going to make it my business to show you every shape, every size, every hue, every cut, coil, texture. Like, the beauty is vast. And so even when we're doing our shoots, everyone knows, like, model selections, it's like, we don't just send us one kind of model. We don't want to just see one size. I want to see all of the sizes. We seek out, you know, I want to see different shapes, textures. And honestly, it's like, I don't even want the sort of like standard body type. Like, I want some flat boobs from time to time. I want, you know, we want to show you everything. And so that's just a must at all times.
I love that. I think all three of your brands, absolutely, each of you do that very well, not just trying to show one type of hair, one type of body, one type of quote unquote Black beauty, whether that's a wider nose, whether it's women with alopecia, men, you know, women with hair, without hair, you know, those who have different abilities. Like, that is centering Black beauty, right? It's not just upholding one type and saying, okay, that this is the pinnacle and we all trying to get there. When each of you sort of think about your journey in that way, around being unapologetic with how you showcase beauty, what are some of the bumps in the road that you've hit, or what's the journey been like? Because it's not always easy to convince companies, brands, anybody that the swath of Black beauty should be embraced. Any examples that you want to toss out there in terms of just like how you have navigating being unapologetic about the diversity of our Black beauty?
Yeah, I'll start. Well, for the Edge Styler, I mean, right now we have our one product, and at first we want to like reach more people, of course, right? But to get into those like larger retailers, you got to go through people who don't understand the product, who look at it and they're like, is this a toothbrush? Or like, what do I use this for? I don't know what this is. And so how we circumvent that is to really lean into our community. I mean, all of the women of color who have helped us along the way have helped us grow. And so, yeah, like, I mean, you know, I don't want to spend all my time explaining to you what edges are and how to do them. But the people who look at the product and know, like, those are the people that we spend the most of our time with, and that's who we do it for.
What about for RadSwan? Oh, go for it.
We had a situation where we did our first ever cover of like a plus woman in like a bikini, and we collaborated with a big retailer, and it was like, oh no, we don't know about this picture. We don't like the fact that she has on sunglasses. It's like, what? I know what it is, and we're not. I was like, you have to trust me that I know what's going to hit in the community, and the community wants to see everyone in a bikini this summer, not just one side, you know, one side.
Yep. What is that landscape like for you, Freddie, in London, especially as, you know, RadSwan is a unicorn in the space?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, yeah, it was definitely like interesting, very challenging. Like when I first went out to take an investment, because you have to, like, you know, explain to people who don't have experience with the product necessarily, or even with the audience sometimes, how this works, but not just how this works, but also what it means to us, and how it starts, because it's not just about wearing wigs. It's that, like, you know, like we all grow up as Black women, like switching hairstyles every month, every few weeks. It's kind of like the way that we flow, the way.
Baby Wi-Fi. It's happening. We're all at home. We all know what it's like. I'm at a WeWork right now, let's be honest.
Yeah, the struggle.
The Wi-Fi struggle. We're all in it. We are all in it. While we wait for Freddie to pop back up, she's like, husband, can you get the Wi-Fi together? That's usually me. Oh, there you are.
Oh, she's back.
I don't know what happened. Sorry, guys. Wi-Fi problems.
You're just fine.
Yeah, sorry. So I don't know where I cut off, but I was saying, like for me, like really having to explain across so many dimensions, like what it is that, why do we do that, where it comes from, culture, etc. Definitely, you have to have this feeling of, yeah, like being proud and apologetic about like your culture, and like you, you guys, like, what do you do, and really carry it in a way where you explain that to people, and they want to support, and they want to get involved, and they want to invest as well. So definitely being unapologetic is very, very important to me. Sorry.
I love Freddie that you describe your brand as being perfect for the shapeshifter. Like when I first heard and saw that word, I was like, you're right. Like as Black women, as Black people, we are shapeshifters. We want the rod set, we want the twist out, we want the buzz cut, we want the wig, we want the weave, we want all of what life has to offer. Tell us about the concept and how you came up with shapeshifter, because again, I feel like that's almost something you had to come up with to kind of explain our approach to beauty.
Exactly, like, and I'm sure like we can all relate. And look, we're all in different places. One of you is in LA, one in New York, one in Atlanta, I'm in London. But what we have in common, I'm sure, is that all of us, like growing up, we used to switch hairstyles every few weeks. And like, even whether if you want or not, I mean, in my house it was like, I don't care what you think, you need to have your braids, you need to, but you get to choose. And that's also how you express yourself, and you're just used to express yourself like this. And even I think that Black sisterhood is what it is because of that, because we spend so many hours sitting in each other's crutches, and like it's very our first experiences and spaces of vulnerability and proximity. And like, so this is how we grow and how we evolve. And then the conversations that we've had the recent few years is, so what? So now when you reach your 20s, your 30s, all of a sudden self-love, really self-acceptance has to look like you have to wear your own hair the same way all the time. Otherwise it's self-hate. Otherwise it's, and that doesn't make sense because this is not how we were raised. So the concept of shapeshifters is because I find that for all of us, it was always hard to justify what we do. Oh, it's protective styling. But what if it's not protective styling? Like,
No,
why do I have
yeah.
to justify? And then if tomorrow I have this wig and tomorrow I have another one, it's like fluidity is what like we are made of. And I find that the concept of shapeshifter is almost, for us, first and foremost, is like we don't even know how to explain what we do innately. So bringing in the concept of shapeshifter is like, you are a shapeshifter, did you know? And that answer of the question, and it really empowers you to keep on switching appearance. And not because, you've gone on the natural hair journey. So now that you love yourself, you shouldn't wear artificial hair anymore. You shouldn't, and then there's so much pressure that we put on each other. And it's just to basically sweep that.
Yeah. Girl, that's a whole sermon right there, because it's so true, right? Because you were you were justifying the weave with like, oh, because it's protective and like I'm growing my hair. You felt like you had to have this whole storyline for your decision.
When it's like you saw a video and you're like, I know I can do that with a couple bundles, and I really want to see what I look like with that, or I really want my hair, I really want to frost my tips without frosting my tips.
That part.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like that with edges too. We find that like some people have never laid their edges before, and maybe they went natural and now they feel like they shouldn't lay their edges, or like maybe like, they love doing like the really dramatic, but like they don't want people to be like, oh, those are grown edges. Like we can literally do whatever we want whenever. Like you could slick it back, you could do nothing, you could do like a little. There's so many things we could do. Like it's really fun being a Black woman. Like to literally change it up every day.
Yeah, like it's our fourth dimension of self-expression is our hair. It's like another, and then we can't explain it. Like we can't justify it.
Absolutely. I think that's, you almost have to lean into the fun of being Black and beautiful in this space. Absolutely. Because it's a space to play in. It's a sandbox. Like I feel like me and Myleik have both had every haircut, style, swoop, and slay.
That's sort of my mission in the marketing of like, or just the whole process of Curlbox is like, our hair deserves to be fun. Like we should also have fun doing. We shouldn't have to like have this hoodie on, walking to the ethnic aisle with which is just 2 rows of the same products. you know, Blue Magic, Dax Grease, Pre-On Gel.
Blushers.
That was, you know, now we feel like we can like sing through the aisles. And I always joke about that old school commercial where they're like in the shower, like, you know, it's like, we want to feel that too.
Yes.
Exactly. Which is why everyone should buy Pattern Beauty, right? Because you feel juicy and joyful in the shower. I was doing my little diffuse this morning with it.
How those products look, you know, it's like I want to pull my products out on vacation and my products look gorgeous too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's half of it. I think all of our brands are seeking that elevation and seeking to offer the customer something that they can feel proud of and that feels beautiful on their countertop, in their shower. Again, because, you know, Ultra Sheen works, but do you want to keep that out? I don't know.
Right.
Like, do you want your toothbrush with the Pro Style gel to be on your countertop? The answer to that is no. You would rather have the baby Tress.
Absolutely. Yes. You want like, we want to use products that like just like the whole experience of the ritual, like it should feel like the time and energy that we're putting into it. Like, absolutely.
Absolutely. It's funny because, you know, I talk to a lot of people, not only through my job, but also just out in the ether. And people are always like, you know, Black hair care, you know, it's just so crowded. There's every product known to man. And yes, when I can walk into the 2-story beauty supplies in Atlanta, which I'm always jealous of and spend like 3 hours in and love it, then it feels like there's every single product. There's a new dryer, flat iron, curl cream, styling spray, at least once a month. We all get the press releases. We all see them on social. But as business women, like, what convinces you that you should bring a new product to the market? What convinces you that it's not time for Curlbox to retire? What convinces you that RadSwan, that we need, you know, another wig that does this, this, and this? As business women, how do you look at this quote unquote congested marketplace, but still, you know, get inspired?
I think we haven't been thought about for so long that this sort of surge of innovation, you know, I think been just 5 years ago or 10 years ago, there's so much more that we can do. You know, I'm rocking a traditional sew-in with my leave-out blending, you know, like we all know that wasn't the case. And now there's, what do you call these things? You guys know what I'm talking about. The
closure, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, those closures are like magic.
To not even have textured closures, you know. Now there's like gel types, right? Like waxes and so I am obviously able to stay in business because the more products come, the more we got to sample. But I'm really pleased because now Black girls have dry shampoos and Black girls have they have more than just getting their hair braided on vacation. You know, there's so much more we can do. And I feel like we haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg, especially with you, Freddie, with like RadSwan, with just like the different type, like clip-ins, right? Like clip-ins, sew-ins, wigs, ponytails, like every time.
Exactly.
I'm like, yes. I love it. Crochet braids. I mean, crochet braids.
I know. Now crochet is like a whole, it's like even cuter.
There's wigs now.
I remember my first crochet.
And there's crochet wigs. Now I'm like, wait, what is this? Because it used to be like 3 packs in a dream. It used to be like, this is not cute. And now it is like popping. And I'll be on RadSwan and I'm like, ooh, can I get that in a 4 with some highlights that it's a 30 and it's still synthetic? Like, yes.
No, exactly. Yeah. But like honestly, it's like Myleik said, like this market is so underserved, and you know, the same way earlier I was mentioning the shapeshifter concept. For me, it's like that's bringing the conversation. But what the conversation is, like, you know, the stigma that we can have as well, the negative stigma around wearing artificial hair. A lot of it is, for me, is due to the poor experience that we have in the shops. You know, the experience that you have in the beauty supply stores of New York or Paris or London, it's the same. Like, they're the same. You know, there are shops that don't match the level of money that we spend on beauty products. They don't match and then so many things are hack based. It could be like the toothbrush and the edge styler. Everything is hack based. Like, all Black women, like, we need satin to sleep on, so we're gonna have those very cheap looking satin cases that with like they're going to like, at the beauty store. It doesn't match with
Mm-hmm.
anything in your bedroom. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything is like hack based, and I think that if we upgrade and really dignify the products, so by innovating and the experience of shopping, that's how you really, and that's why, like, there's still space in this market because
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Making a
I
note of
love
that.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
the dignify, the elevation, because you're absolutely right. Too many people
Mm-hmm.
have hair scarves that just don't match nothing in their life, nothing going on. You're using a scarf to wrap around your pillowcase. You're like, this is just, it's
Yeah.
fashion
Right.
based.
They'll
And
do
go
the
from the shop. Sorry.
they do the photo shoot, and the person on the picture don't even have no makeup on. Like, what kind of camera did we use? Like, does it? It does not look this. It's like it doesn't have to look this bad.
Right.
It
Right.
does.
Agreed.
Right. Yeah. I think
Agreed.
also like that. I don't look at the space and think that it's crowded because, there are so many different types of Black women. And we all have different needs, different lifestyles, different like, things that we like to do. So like there may be a product that like is all about like the branding and the fragrance and like there's that part of it. Then maybe there's a Black woman who like has a very sensitive scalp and a certain texture and like she needs something different. I think there's space for all of us. And it is really cool to see us here elevating and dignifying and like finding all the little needs. Like there's definitely space for so many brands. Like there's something for
Agreed.
everyone. And there's also so many different markets. Like there's America and then there's also so many places around the world. Like Black women are everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Agreed. Agreed.
mhm,
Black people are everywhere. And I think, even just being at Pattern and talking
mhm,
to different customers and clients and things like that, there's a real need for curly haired products for the graying hair. Your gray hair is completely
mhm,
different than the rest of your
mhm.
hair. And like, this is a color situation. So all up in
Yeah.
here is a lot of gray. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether it's gray hair, whether, Black women and Black men were hip to porosity, or what products really work for dandruff, what products really work for hair in human environments. Like, I think that there's still an exploration that is happening in centering Black beauty and recognizing that it's not one size fits all.
Yes.
Totally.
One thing that I have noticed a ton about the three of you ladies is that, in each of your brands, visuals really play a huge role. And we touched on this a little bit earlier with Myleik talking about the mags and each of your websites, etc. But there's a difference between the imagery that you all put out in your respective brands and a lot of the imagery that we see from Black beauty companies. There's a difference between celebratory images where Black people are the subjects and not the objects of a lens, where Black people are celebrated and empowered and not sort of convinced that their hair is wrong. I don't see before and afters on your
Right.
sites. I
Right.
don't see like someone looking like, I don't just know what to do, like, or my hair's a mess. That's a
Yeah.
very purposeful thing, because you go into retailers and they always want a before
But
and after.
Mm,
They want you to be looking busted
yeah.
and then be looking amazing after your product somehow, because that's just
mhm.
what it is. We see it in skincare, hair care, pedicures, everything. Talk to
Yeah.
me about how each of you have become creative directors and marketers and visual magic makers, because you're not just founders. You are stewards of Black beauty visuals.
Yeah.
How have you navigated that? How have you done that? Because it's not like everybody went to school for that. It ain't like everybody was a marketer in their previous life.
Yeah.
I mean, in my case, I definitely didn't set out to do this. I kind of just fell into it. And it's because I love the story. In regards to edge styling, my favorite part about talking to people is everyone has a story. Even if they never laid their edges, they're just like, oh, I remember my mom used a toothbrush for blah, blah, blah. I remember so-and-so, their edges are laid. And when it all comes back to the story and the legacy, because that's the central focus, and because there are Black people and people of color behind the lens and in the product development and involved in the entire process, um, that's really how we do it. I mean, that's why I do it. I love the story, and that's what I want people to get when they look at our website and look at our visuals. Not busted, oh, your edges are bad, and then now they're good. Like, what are bad edges, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So so, you go ahead, Myleik.
No, I'm listening. Go. I have some funny stories, but I want to hear. I love your imagery, Freddie, I used to like. I think you and I talked about this, and I don't know if you guys know this. That were we one of the first companies to pay you to use your images?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Curlbox, like 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, like Myleik approached me to like buy a photo for the of me that I had on Instagram on my blog for the Curlbox. Yeah, and that was one of the first brands to like pay for the photos. Hey, can we use it?
It's a full
Yeah.
circle
Absolutely.
moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But the story, like, I'm really, really huge on the story. Like, storytelling is so important, and I think that's exactly what our hair is and what it does is story. Like, that's what brings us together. That's what, again, the four of us in four time zones, four different time zones, four different accents, all of this is like we have this in common is hair and stories there. And I think, like, again, like the shapeshifters or even the way that we have rad shapes and not wigs, because we also want to, by upgrading, identifying everything, can we revisit the conversation around the negative stigma? We want to unload everything. And it goes a lot with what you were saying, like the photos of before and after. We have visuals on our website. We have beautiful photos of the models with hair in cornrows and big earrings and a nice makeup, because it's not a before and after. It's an extension of it. It's just like, it's a story, like, like you are the artist at the center, and the way you shapeshift, the way you use your hair, whatever you do with it is telling a story, but you're never covering it. You're never hiding it. You're never like, it's not that. It's just that our hair reaches further, and that's just what it does. But so, yeah, storytelling is definitely, I think, what makes us creative directors as well, is that, no, like, I want to tell it to you the way it moves in me.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Our website, it took me about a year and a half to come up with the concept and shoot our site, because unlike most other things, there are no references. It's hard to put together a storyboard or a mood board of things that don't exist. So I worked with black female photographer Itasha Jordan, who, the fun story behind that is I stole her pictures. I did not know. This is back in the day. I did not know that you had to it was a whole thing. And I didn't know that it was a black woman shooting these images. And so she contacted me through my website and was like, excuse me, this picture that you have belongs to me. And I was like, oh my God, this is a black woman. We got together and I fly her out like maybe 3 times before we shoot something and get the models. I mean, the hair, and we want to show everything, because on the hero image is like, that is pressed out and it's like a braided crown, and then it's like every texture. And even though we focus on natural curls, it's about how the hair grows out of the scalp. And then I just love showing what all like our hair can do, from air drying and pulling, just braiding it, twisting it, blowing it out. I mean, combing it out, brushing it out. It's endless.
It is. And I think there's real attention paid to the marketing. I think one of the things that I'm seeing here in the comments is how people are so inspired by the visuals that you all create and how they feel centered and celebrated in every aspect. Again, like, straight backs used to be the thing that, like, again, you put your hood up, you had your straight backs, like maybe the chick on 125th did your straight back, and then there was a Dominican chick who then did your sew-in, and you were like ashamed. And now there's such beauty in seeing our hair in all of its states, in all of its iterations, and feeling like, okay, there is beauty and worthiness in what grows out of our scalps. And that it's not something to hide, that it's not, oh, I'm en route to beauty, that it's all beautiful.
Totally.
That it all is. But those visuals, people ask all the time, like, oh, wow, your billboards or your commercials or this, that, and the third look so amazing. And it's like, Yes, because we take a lot of time. We
Yep.
find the right photographer. You talking about flying Itasha out 3 times before the shoot, like
Yes.
conceptually building that mood board, conceptually thinking about, okay, who are the types of people that we're going to try the baby Tress on? Are they going to look different? Are we laying edges that easily swoop and slay, or ones that take like need a hard hold edge gel? Like all of those different things we each pay attention to. And I feel like it's another job just to pay attention to the visuals, right? It's not even just product development. Like you're still
Absolutely. Like creative direction and marketing and like branding, like that's all a bunch of different details and jobs to focus on.
absolutely.
But I guess that's the fun part of being an entrepreneur. You have to focus on all these
Absolutely.
details.
Yes.
Freddie's like, it's either the fun part or the part that keeps me up at night, aside from the 7-week-old.
Right. I mean, honestly, I'm definitely more a creative than operational, like 100%.
Yeah.
I think we're probably all leaning much more towards the creative than the operational. I love it. Each of you has also, done a ton of speaking engagements. You do press. There's like the coins that roll in. Like leading a business can be exciting, as you all have talked about. But it can also make you unexpected sort of celebs, right? Everybody wants to come up to you at the Kroger, at the market. Like people think you like want to you can ask all their.
But that was me.
No.
Oh, there you
Zoom
are.
call. Zoom call heaven.
Oh.
But when you are these unexpected celebrities, people can think that you're accessible at all times, and they love that about you. That's what makes your brands relatable. But your lives are your own. You have children, you have partners, you have family, friends. Talk to us about sort of navigating being a force in the beauty industry, but eschewing the pressure to always be the beauty CEO or the beauty founder and look perfect at all times, have perfectly laid edges, Shannon, have like all the products laid out and ready, have your wig on tight and secured. Like, talk to us about navigating that, how you are just a human and a beauty badass.
I'll go first because I'm not as big as Myleik and Freddie, which I'm very much like the introvert, and I think, how do I combat like needing to be like beautiful all the time? I kind of just ignore that voice in my head that tells me like somebody thinks this about you, or like, oh, you're gonna be on camera, your edges need to be swooped and swirled. Like I just decided to do something simple. Like I'm a human and I'm well-rounded. And I do also want people to feel like they can approach me, and like my edges aren't always laid. Like you can still use this product and your edges don't have to be laid. Like you can, like we talked about earlier, shape shifting. Like I am just like you.
Yeah. I think I've tried hard to remain human in all of it, because I think the elephant in the room for Black women-owned businesses is that the way sometimes, the accessibility that the customer has, and like, because I think of how nurturing we are, there's this assumption that like we are packing every box, delivering it ourselves. I think we have that sort of personal touch, but also just reminding our customers that like once we hand things off to someone else, we can only do so much. And so for me, it's just, I have fought I think back, Amy, when we used to work in Hollywood together, I mean, I used to do my makeup every day. And I had to do some personal work within myself of like, I'm going to challenge myself to show up as myself, because I can't not get things done because I don't have time to like blend my, highlight. Like blend, like to try to shape my face. Like I have to be out here. And the reason, and I do that because the only way that we are going to create more wealth for Black women is that we need more Black women to create more businesses, and it is not overcrowded. There is plenty of work that needs to be done, and I want you to just keep showing up however you can, because the goodness is inside. It's not about what we're looking like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love
no,
that.
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think for me, the pressure, so, so, so obviously, like I have this platform and I have like a big community, but I feel like for the last 2 years, I've been definitely kind of like on the, it's like it's been very low key for me. And it really started when I decided to, like when I raised the money for RadSwan and it was about, okay, like now, like we have to go, on fire. And for me, it was difficult to step into that role while, listening to the noise outside, like to the noise everywhere, because what kind of CEO you have to be, you have to be this kind of person. This is how a CEO is. And actually, like the three of us here are CEOs, but these are not jobs that we applied to, right? So these are like,
Mm-hmm.
it is because we happen
Mm-hmm.
to be the founders. So like we have three different jobs, three different roles. Like you make up this role as you go. And that's like for me has been the biggest learning. And I feel like because of that, I had to really step back from social media or even from, like being accessible, like for example, like even stories, and being in constant conversation with people, because then without paying too much attention, you just really try to meet their expectations or to fit the models. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I speak for me because this is how I am. Shannon, I'm just like you. I'm very much on the introvert side, and yeah, like it's much better for
Oh,
me to kind of like share less, and take a step back to be able to really find my role.
Yeah, I think it definitely ebbs and flows. I think,
Mm-hmm.
Myleik and I have talked a lot about this over the years of, there are seasons where you're really on the grind, you're doing all the tours, you're booking all the events, you fly in, you're traveling, you're doing all that. And then there are seasons of kind of being a little bit more introverted and taking a step back and focusing on family. And yes, you're still grinding for your business, but that looks different.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
anyone who knows me and knows that I know Myleik is always like, girl, how does Myleik be on stories all the time? How does she be on IG all the time? I said, honestly, that's her boundary. That's what she feels comfortable
Mm-hmm.
doing, but she's also in the house. She got two kids, she has a partner, she does other things. She creates those boundaries for herself in that way. So the IG is the way that she does it. But is she jet setting every weekend? No.
go out. Yeah. People are always like, how do you do it? And I think, before digital marketing was a thing, that's what I did, So
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably much faster on the internet than the average person. And
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
do people just the whole thing is like it's just documentation,
Yeah.
just and challenging yourself to find new ways to document things. I mean, I always tell people a part of my doing social is if I'm going to be doing Curlbox, which is the same thing. I think we're at like 150 boxes, right? How can you flip the same thing month after month or day after day, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, how can I get on social and keep people interested with my same life? Yeah. So that I can then challenge myself to keep people interested with the same box.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a ton of sense. I
Yeah.
think Mina Harris, who's the founder of Phenomenal, faces sort of the same thing. She's always on social, but she just has a mind that works that way.
Yeah.
She
Mm-hmm.
is capable of, multitasking. But I think what we're all saying is you have to do um, what comes naturally and is authentic to you. Like I
Yeah.
have to
Absolutely.
cut off after 6 o'clock. Like I can do
Yes.
Zoom, 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 but I'm naturally introverted. So
Yeah.
after this, I'm like, I'm tired. Don't talk to me. Why are we
Mm-hmm.
chatting? Like, can we make
Yeah.
this an email and not a Zoom call?
The
Well,
downtime is very, very
Amy,
important.
you're deep. You are not like you're not Amy is not like surface. Like if when she's in something, she's
I'm
in
in it, and then I'm exhausted,
Right.
and then I
Yeah.
need a
Uh-huh.
nap. I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
be like
And it
Freddie's
looks
baby
different for
and just
everyone.
napping.
it.
Yeah. No, like, and it looks different for everyone. That's what is very important to remember, is that it's just not going to be the same for everyone. And that in itself is a learning lesson, like, and even if you're not online because you're grinding, maybe you're busy having a lot of bad stuff happening. And that's also part of
Mm-hmm.
what is going to be successful in the future as well. Like, we
Absolutely.
don't know those things. So maybe right now I'm not at peak. I'm really going through it, mistakes and whatnot. But without that, like, I'm not going to be on this next step.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, sometimes just take the noise out and do
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah.
But
It's
I
about
think that
being
goes back to
fluid,
our
like Freddie
topic.
said earlier. Mm-hmm.
Exactly, being fluid, but that goes back to our topic of centering Black beauty in the sense of Black beauty and Black women in general, we are multivariant. We aren't just strong. We aren't just on one speed. We aren't always beat
Mm-hmm.
faced and snatched. We aren't on any of those things. And so I think as founders, you all do an amazing job representing the diversity of that, showing that you could be a CEO who is jet setting and looking fabulous, and a CEO who's breastfeeding right now on IG Live, and the person who is multitasking. Like, because that's
Yeah.
all beautiful. That's the
Thank you, Tress.
authenticity that people ascribe to and that they love
Mm-hmm.
about each of your brands.
Yeah.
Okay, this month marks the 2-year anniversary of the Crown Act to end race-based hair discrimination. And we're doing, of course, the series on Phenomenal right now, all about Crown Day. What advice do each of you have for those tuning in about taking up space, about centering and celebrating their own Black beauty? Any advice that you would have for sort of taking up space and showing up as yourself?
Mm-hmm.
I think
No, you go, Myleik.
no, go first, Freddie. I think we all think of this. Go first.
No, for me, it's so I often say that I launched this brand almost like an accident. Before it was called Big Hair No Care, and they were just clip-ins, and I had created this for me, thinking I'm so clueless. I just need something really easy, and it's not there. But everyone knows, like every Black woman know how to do hair, right? And it turns out it's not true. Like I found a lot of women who are like me. So I would say to anyone that whatever they're experiencing, that they think, oh, I have this position, I have this issue. You're probably not the only one. Like you probably have a lot of people who would resonate and who would want to hear which solution you have envisioned for that, who would want to see which product you have in mind that would fix that. Sometimes that's really what stops us in our tracks, is to think, well, if I've thought of it, well, everyone has, and it's not true. And that's really like leading with this is what can really make you successful in this journey. It's really like speaking to your experience, to how you feel, to what you want to bring, really being focused on your intention. That I find helps with the imposter syndrome and wanting to take up space.
I love that. Love that. Shannon, Myleik?
I'd say my advice for taking up space or taking your space, I think it all starts from confidence. And in my own confidence journey, it's like a daily and hourly, it's daily work, right? It's me like spending time in my head and being like, okay, is that a real thought, or am I just projecting that onto something else? When it comes to taking up space, like, you kind of just have to do what you feel and just do it. Like it can't be a matter of like, oh, what's my job going to think about my hair or whatever. And I know that's like a hard thing to say, right? Because that's your income. But like I think it stems from confidence and just being able to step out and have your head high no matter what you look like or what's going on. That's how you take up space.
Yeah. I think just not even feeling, I know I used to be this way where you feel like you owe people an explanation, an answer or the truth to their question related to who you are, and like no one is like, even sometimes people like, what is that your hair? It's like you're not there and you are not owning the truth. So if I lie, that's on you. It's not, and I think that is how I have decided to take up space, is just setting my boundaries with the world. I want to tell people and what people feel like they're owed. I don't know why people feel like they can ask Black women like really personal questions.
Yes.
I have not in my, from even when I was pregnant with the babies, like strangers just asking me things I've never even heard people be asked. And so that's just me taking up, like, I owe you, I don't know you anything. I don't know you anything, and whatever I choose to tell you.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is good enough. Whatever
Space
I show
taken.
up as, space taken, check.
Yes.
Sincerely,
Assignment
my
understood. Yes.
Okay, Before we wrap up, I have a couple of rapid fire questions. I always like to kind of like just a few quick ones. Okay. And so you'll each go around and just answer real quick.
Okay.
What has been your best and worst hairstyle?
Ooh.
Tell us now if you've had a Jerry curl. Tell me now. Just come out with it. Best and worst hairstyle.
One time when I was younger, I I slicked down like just like most of the edges, and then like I had like these tendrils. I was really young. I was like in second grade doing my hair, and I just had like these curl, but it was like slicked down curls, and I think the rest was like pulled back. I don't think there's any photos, and I'm very grateful.
So that was, you were channeling a good Orthodox Jewish man, was what you were going.
Pretty much. Now, mind you, at this time, I was living like in Alaska. Like there weren't a lot of like Black people around me. There weren't any Jewish people around me. So I don't know where I got this from, but I did it. And I'd say my best hairstyle, you know, after I grew out my perm, like when I saw what my curls actually were, like that's truly like my favorite. Like when they're just like bouncy and moisturized and juicy. Like I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. All right. Freddie, best and worst.
Yeah, I'm just saying for the best. Yeah, like for the best hairstyle is definitely like when I like rediscovered my ringlets and how like, you know, it's just beautiful, like the texture and how tight and elastic it is. I would say like the worst for me is I went to study for a semester in Shanghai, like years ago in China, and I had saved the whole summer, like I had saved for a whole year for like a lace front wig. It was back in the days. And I had watched all of the videos on YouTube and how to wear those things. And, you know, and the thing came, and I arrived in China, and my hair underneath is a mess. It's like, you know, this of clothes and then relax. And this week, and the glue, I made a mess. It was so I was desperate. I was saying to people, my forehead was relaxed, like was not allergic to the weather. But it was just glue everywhere. I shaved my edges.
Oh no!
Like I spent the rest of the semester with just like the hair like this.
Oh.
It was bad. So, but listen, here we are now with the RadSwan. You don't need any glue, no nothing. That taught me my lesson. And
absolutely.
No, I think
love it.
I've been on the right side of hairstyles, thank God, for a long time. But the worst was like getting my hair colored or dyed blonde, like a couple of different blondes, not realizing the amount of care that you have to put into that. And so basically,
that's a good one. Mm-hmm.
All of it. And best, my favorite styles, honestly, was when I discovered like a crochet. I got a crochet like little cut like this that takes inexpensive, doesn't take long to install, and like lasts for months, like 4 months.
I love it. Freddie, I'm glad that you have survived lace front in China Gate. That's just...
right, and you would think they have all of them have that.
If you had to choose, you were on a desert island and you had to choose one, would you choose a wide tooth comb or a pick?
Pick.
Wide tooth comb.
Wide tooth comb.
Check. I probably would choose the comb because I can fluff with the comb too.
Yeah, exactly.
If I move it, if I wrench it around. Hair icon or inspiration? Who is your hair icon or inspiration?
I'm gonna say Patrice Rushen.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Patrice Rushen. If y'all don't know and you're just too young to have gotten the goodness, you need to Google.
Google, please. Yes.
Who'd you say, Myleik?
I'm like, that's so hard for me. I don't know that I'm gonna have one.
No one whose hair you love, whose
hair icon. I love Tracy Ellis Ross is definitely hair icon. Like, I just love how the diversity of styles in every environment. Like, Vogue is not too good for straight backs, like, nor the Golden Globes, nor, you know what I mean? Definitely.
Mine is Solange.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Solange is dope.
That's a good one. Solange is a dope one.
Khalees is dope too.
Oh yes, Khalees. Oh, that's a great one.
Khalees
I don't even play
her at-home little remedies. She's like, I mix this with this. I be watching every day.
Okay, cool.
Khalees always has like a good hair care mask. Her skincare regimens be on point.
Yeah.
Her cooking, like,
Yeah.
gee,
Yes.
Cooking
Love
class
it.
with in live and in person. She's dope.
jealous.
Ooh, me too.
All right, ladies, the last thing is, what's next for you? What can people be supporting who are tuned in? They want to make sure that they can support, they can buy, they can shop. Like, tell us what's happening with each of your brands and what they can do to support.
Well, Baby Tress, we are working on some new launches this year. So if you go to our website, babytress.com, you can sign up for our newsletter. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, wherever we are. We're everywhere. And yes, stay tuned. New stuff coming.
Love it.
Freddie, what's RadSwan? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
RadSwan. Okay, so we have a lot. So we're launching new products starting from the end of the summer towards the end of the year. If you can follow us on Instagram, you can go on our website and pick up our newsletter as well, or via the link in our bio. Yeah, and just like tell your friends, tell a friend to tell a friend. And
Amen. RadSwan. Get it.
Yeah.
Get it.
Curlbox is we had our partnership with Ulta, and we have some more sort of like retail partnerships coming up this year, which is exciting. We are turning 10. I think, we're finally this baby that I've had for a decade is now about ready to grow on up. So I'm really looking forward to all that we have to offer. We've never offered more boxes ever than we have this year in 2021. So super thrilled about that.
Amazing.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Yes. Everyone who's tuning in, please make sure to go to babytress.com, curlbox.com, RadSwan. And of course, you've got to go to Phenomenal. Check out our Curl Day activation on Phenomenal. We're just so thrilled to have had this conversation talking about, founding a business that centers on Black beauty. Ladies, thank you so, so much for participating, for dropping gems, for bringing your positive vibes.
Thank you for having us. This is so awesome.
Yes.
Of course. Have a good day, ladies.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.